Buongiorno a tutti.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Well, the topic of food and cooking, you know, I'm a chef. When I started, I could never even imagine that I would step up on stage to tell you what I do. Well, maybe it's because of my shyness, or I could not grasp the connection between getting on stage to tell you things and what we really do in our daily practice. Well, you know, the world of cuisine or food has changed radically. Now, going back to the issue of aesthetics, if you take any old cookbook or ancient cookbook, food was all into aesthetics. Very often chefs were architects, especially in France. In Italy they were a bit more of chefs rather than architecture. But what was important for a chef was to build, to mount a pièce, to set up a tray focused on aesthetics. It was not so important whether it was not good or not good, because there was no cold chain, there was no way of preserving food. So you had to come up with tricks to overcome this problem. Then what happened was usability, so to speak. So food became the heritage available to everyone, became affordable to everyone, and so tradition opened up. So we have our countryside, let's call it healthy food, and then you grow it and then you process it or consume it. And then we had a later stage in the 60s and 70s where we had a lot of, affluence. If you remember, in all restaurants you had pasta with cream, ham and peas, and it was really terrible, horrible dishes. I cooked them myself, and I didn't even know why I was cooking that stuff, but that's what the way it was. You could not argue with that. From there, we moved on to a concept of cooking, and you can see it in the images that are being projected. We moved on to a more essential, cleaner type of cooking, something more down to earth, which is actually, it has an eye on aesthetics, because food is made of a color and shape, but it's mainly done of substance, different consistencies and perfumes and flavors, which are unique, so to speak. So that shift was almost a radical turning point. We moved from the concept of fat, represented by cream, relating to wealth, to something much, leaner. There are no sauces in our dishes today. Sauces are just details. It's just the final detail to sort of remind people of some flavors. The dish used to be the sauce. The sauce was the main point. You could determine the category of a dish or the importance of a dish starting from the sauce. So food became more important. It became all the more important as we made it available to everyone. Haute cuisine, I don't know why they define it as haute cuisine, seems to be far away, inaccessible, something for few. You need to have eaten at least 50 tons of things, no 200 different products. You need to have traveled around the world to do that. Well, indeed, haute cuisine is just the result of an experience. It's the result of an ability to change and to adjust to real life. Today, we no longer eat the way we used to eat 20 to 30 years ago. We eat in a totally different way, sometimes in a worse way, because we are always in a hurry. We lack stimuli from inside, but we often eat by checking what the chef is doing. We want to see what the chef is doing. So cooking is a much more personal view on an ingredient. So each of us tries to express himself or herself through a simple concept. Like you saw before, they were dried vegetables, simple vegetables like carrots, potatoes, courgette, asparagus, but they were dried. Why did we dry them? The concept was that of chips. Chips works everywhere, from the north to the south, at any latitude it works well. But we wanted to change the terms, the paradigms. So it's no longer an industrial French fries of dubious origin, but we did the same with simple vegetables that preserve their original color, but they change in terms of shape. They're crunchy, they're fat-free, so they are good for everyone. They have no contraindication and they are salt-free. This is just a way to communicate, to make people understand how by reinterpreting some ingredients or some preparations, we can really we can actually talk to a much broader audience today, because the issue of cuisine and chefs in general is that they live in a sort of closed-up microcosm. What we are is actually, we are happiness suppliers. All the dishes we cook, last night I counted them as 550, the number of dishes that were prepared in the kitchen. 400 of them, if 400 of them reach their destination, it's a great success. It means giving unique moments to people who came to enjoy a break or some entertainment, some occasions for well-being through a meal, and through those dishes they could find feelings or emotions that maybe have got nothing to do with the dish that they are enjoying, but inside they host a number of figures and memories that really make you feel good. The best compliment that you may receive, even if it is banal, is seeing a transformation in the customer, leaving the restaurant happy. He's usually in a hurry, is always stressed out, and you see his face changing when he leaves the restaurant. So we come in with a menu and we establish a dialogue between what we have before our eyes and what we assume, what we do. And that's the most delicate part of our job. That is the ability to get into the customer's head, the head of the customer sitting in front of that dish, and try to make the customer understand what we have done before. That's the hardest thing to do. We reckon that out of 10 dishes, if one remains in the memory of the person who ate it, is a great success. One dish out of 10 sticking to the mind of people. Sometimes you even score 2 or 3 out of 10. It depends on your attitude, on the customer's attitude actually, or the person enjoying the dish. It very much depends on the user in inverted commas. But after some time, after years, or when you have to deal with a person coming from a different culture or different customs, you know, remembering a dish or a preparation linked to the chef, the person who did it, I think it's real fun and it's exciting. For us, it's a big satisfaction. It pays back more than anything else, more than any other public recognition by anyone. I mean, the fact that we are recognized for a dish, for a sensation or feeling that only lasts like 30 seconds in the best possible scenario, that's very hard. And if you can do that, you really feel proud. What we put in a dish is our creativeness, if you will. creativeness in the composition and colors. We have a very strong aesthetic sense of aesthetics is really crucial because the dish actually lends itself to that. Well, a lot of people compare what we do with painting. Well, it's only comparable to painting because you have colors and shapes. But what we do is a sort of game. It's something that leads us to play. Everything should be made harmonious and should be proposed in a simple way to the customer. As of today, cooking or offering food or a special type of cuisine is like a story. It tells you about our way of working or transforming the raw material with a view to providing happiness. I don't think I could say more.